All right, it is 5:05. So let's do official introductions. Greetings and salutations, everyone. I am Lord Kalbardr Geiler from the Barony of the Osprey on the southern coast Meridies, companion of the Meridian Cross, companion of the Argent Lamp Osprey and Reaper, and I am joined by
Féchín Patrick O'Higgin of the Shire of Andunthane in the Kingdom of Meridies.
There you go. My second Andunthane guest that we've had. So today we're talking about Nine Men's Morris, although actually we're going to cover Morris games in general because like Mancala, like chess, they're very much a category of games. So let me go into that, and then Féchín and I are going to play a little bit for your enjoyment. So let me... Bam, there we go. Nope, wrong screen. There's the one I want. Okay, so... this handout is in the event. If anybody wants to go and grab that, feel free to do that. And we'll do that. You can go over with us, or you can see it on the screen here. So Nine Men's Morris is the most popular version of the Morris games. Dates back to the early Romans, early Egyptians. Obviously, a lot of the games, because this is another one of the common main games, right? So this is not a game of nobility. It's not a game of the upper echelon. It was not documented very well. We don't see it until later in period when we look into the Alfonso's manuscript, his book of games, where it's truly been documented. We have, however, found boards and symbols that look like boards, dating back to roughly 1400 BC. I always find it really funny when I'm watching any kind of documentary about the Knights Templar specifically, and you'll see a sacred symbol of the Knights Templar that's actually just a Nine Men's Morris board. Now, I'm not saying they didn't potentially use that same symbol, but it's really funny to see a Nine Men's Morris board being used as some sacred mystical symbol. So the board itself consists of a grid of 3 concentric squares. I've got pictures of that there, with connection points on the sides and on the tops. So if you've ever played tic-tac-toe, this is literally just glorified tic-tac-toe. The object is the same to get 3 in a row, but instead of it being an instant win condition, it is a game of removing your opponent's pieces. So the game Nine Men's Morris consists of 9 pieces, or 9 men, per person, per player. And there are other versions of it that are either 12, 6, or 3 men that, as you would guess, use 12, 6, or 3 pieces per player. The 6-man board goes down to 2 concentric squares, and the 3-man board goes down to a single square with multiple extra lines in it, essentially, to give you both your placement and your movement. So like other games we've looked at this week, this is a game that uses intersections instead of spaces. So we look at the board itself has a form of intersections, and so instead of it being squares, we look at the points, corners, and then the points on the intersections in the middle, and those are your spaces. Generally, you'll see them with dots or sort of some sort of other symbol, just to give you an idea where the spaces are. The game itself is played in 2 phases. The first phase is placing the men onto the board. So the players take turns placing 1 man at a time, and the object to be is to create a line of 3 or a mill. If that is done at any point, either during the placement phase or the moving phase, that player then gets to remove one of their opponent's pieces from the board and put into their scoring pile or into the dead pile, essentially. Once all the men are placed, the second phase starts, which is in the moving phase. The moving phase consists of being able to move those pieces along those lines to form those same three in a row lines. And again, every time one of those is formed, you get to remove a piece. The only exception to the removal is that you cannot remove a piece that's currently in a line or in a mill. As you get better at this game, the way to be more successful is to have multiple lines that can be moved between that allow you to form a mill, move, form a mill, move, form a mill. So you always want to watch your opponents to make sure that you don't let them do that. And this is really easy to do in 9 men's board. It's a lot harder to do in 6 men because of the slightly smaller board, but the same idea applies. You can move in and out of a mill on consecutive turns. That is allowed, so you can form, unform, and reform a mill. The only thing is when you unform your mill, you are then vulnerable to having your pieces removed. So you kind of want to be careful which pieces you're removing. There is a third phase that is an optional phase. I've never used it personally because I think it's a bit overpowered. But if you have a player that's a brand new player and you're playing as a much experienced player, you could allow it. And it's the flying man optional rule. Basically allows them to, on that, as they get to a certain number of pieces, in this case, their last 3, they can bounce them around the board and they're not restricted to just the lines they're in. Generally, once the player's down to 3 or the 4 or 5 pieces, the game's almost pretty much over. Because you're generally going to be boxed into a corner. It's just a war of attrition at that point. Now, looking at some variations, because 9-man's Morris is the most popular, is the one we see the most of. But there are 3- and 6-man Morris that were played throughout history. 9-man seems to be the one that has caught on the most. So 3-man's Morris is literally the smaller version of 9-man's Morris. And it is tic-tac-toe. The only difference in it and noughts and crosses or tic-tac-toe is that once you have placed the pieces, if a mill has not been formed, so if you have not gotten your 3 in a row, you then have the option to move along those lines to allow that victory to happen. This was much more a children's game. It was, generally played. The kids would draw the box out on the ground, draw the lines in, and grab some rocks and play, just like you would see tic-tac-toe played in the schoolyard or in a on pen and paper kind of thing. It was not played by adults. It was not played by the nobles at all. And I say that with some exception. There is a really neat find that I found in one of the references, and all the references are listed in this paper. By the way, the other thing that was listed in the event handout or in the events was a research paper I wrote for Midwinter A&S. So has a lot more of the history and sort of the background of the game. One of my favorite things was that have found carvings from dating about the 1300s in the Westminster Abbey of a 3-man's Morris board in the seats of the cloister. So clearly some of the monks got bored and were playing while they were doing their prayers, which I thought was kind of interesting. There's also documented accounts from China of a very similar game, obviously a different name, being played from roughly 500 BC. So it fits in with the timeline from that 1300s. So clearly it's being played, and that's, again, just the first documentation from China, not necessarily the oldest time it was being played. So there's a couple of boards there. So you'll see both square versions and round versions. There's really no difference in the play style because you still have a singular line between the 2 spaces and you still have lines crossing. The biggest difference you see is the one on the left here versus the one on the right is whether the extra diagonal lines are added or not. Those extra diagonal lines do drastically change the game and change the movement of the pieces, making that secondary phase much more important if you do not win during the first phase. And you can see there one of the Alfonso manuscripts showing children and young teens playing 3-man's Morris. Looking at 6-man's Morris, a little more complex than 3-men, but not quite as so as 9-men. So this would have been your slightly advanced game. Was not popular. It sort of went, oh, look, let's play 6-men. And then it went, 9-men's better. You either played 3 or you played 9. Very rarely did they play 6. It seemed to be, about completely obsolete by the 1600s, but was still being played up until then, just not nearly as popular. Same objective. You start with 6 pieces each, placing 1 per turn, and then moving 1 per turn, just like in 9-men or 3-men. Obviously, moving them, removing them until they're down to less than 3. And I haven't found any good examples of 6-man Morris boards from period because it was just a sort of an off mention in most of the things. You'll find 3-men, you'll find 9, and then there's the 6-man boards that's mentioned but not shown as much. So a little history on 9-man's Morris. I found, so I'm a Norse persona, so I look at a lot of the Norse things. So one of the cool ones I found was the Gokstad ship burial, which is, there's a large ship that they found the entirety of, and they've pulled pieces out of it and things like that. This is actually a picture from the Gokstad burial where they found a 9-man's Morris and a Nefertopol board. It looks like it was made out of the shipboard. So it looks like they pulled up parts of the ship and made them out of that, probably spare pieces or pieces that were broken off in combat. I actually have pictures, real excellent pictures from the museum that's holding those right now. I need to add to this, but they are, that's what I'm going to remake at some point when I do some woodworking. So it's a neat little feature, and that's dating from, I think the, like 11, It was dug up in the late 1800s, and I think it dates to like the 910 somewhere in there, 1000s, when they think the ship was buried. There's a couple more Nyman's Morris boards, and there's the Alfonso manuscript again with Nyman's Morris showing the adults, or in this case, probably older teens playing. That's extra junk for that. So now there is another variant. Excuse me for the scrolling here. Of Morris games that I want to touch on briefly because it is a drastically different game. So 12-Men's Morris is a drastically different game from 9-Men's Morris. It is still in the same category and it's still played on the same board. However, it was played with dice. Now, looking at the Alfonso manuscript, which I've linked in the reference, they mention this as a separate category of games, but with a same idea of creating your mills or your merrills. The dice allowed both movement and placement rules to be added. So with 9-Men's Morris, there are no restrictions. There's no rules. You place anywhere on the board. Your objective is to create your mills. With the dice being added, it allowed them to do a randomization factor and change it from a game of skill to a game of chance with some skill choice to it, right? So sometimes they would be allowed to move. Sometimes they'd be allowed to move a certain number of spaces instead of just one. So it's a drastically different game. It's one I haven't played yet. But it's something I'd like to try out just to see how much it changes the mechanics. But I know it does just from the reading. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I will let me add my comment like I usually do, and then I think we're just gonna play some because this is a super simple game. Hard to I appreciate with this. At least I had a lot more historical context that I don't usually provide when I'm doing rules games. But let me pull my game up, and I will bring my co-host and guest star back. Ba-bam! Welcome back, Viking.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Need to fix the sign-in sheet.
What's wrong with it?
It doesn't have 9-Man Morris because you added that class last minute.
Well, you're right. It doesn't. I'll fix that after this class. Sorry about that.
Also, while you were talking, I looked it up, and it looks like the dendrochronological dating for the ship says that it was built around 890 AD.
Right. Okay. Yeah, 900s is right. That's why I knew I was in the ballpark with that. I was like, nah. That's one thing. So, like, when I do my research, and this is a sort of off topic a bit, but when I do research, I hyper focus on the topic, and I forget to bring other stuff. Like I'll read about the thing and then go, crap, I forgot to write that down because it was off topic for the thing I was focusing on. So in this case, I was focusing on 9-Men's Morris and on that thing, and I pulled in the Ghost Burial as here's an excellent example of that. And I dated the board, but I forgot to date the actual like sort of ship in the find and all that stuff because I'm a goofy person. So. Is 12-Men Morris played on the same as 9? It is sort of. Let me pull up a 12-Men's Morris board right quick, and I'll show you that while we're talking. You can find it. Doop-a-doop-doo, 12-Men's Morris. I know this is terribly exciting. Yes, okay, so it looks like it's played on the same board. Yeah, it's the same board. So the same board as you're seeing here, you just use more pieces. I think part of it, because the dice add the placement mechanic, it does limit the game a little bit. So, anywho. All right, so if anybody who hasn't seen one of my classes yet, we're playing this on Board Game Arena, boardgamearena.com. It's completely free for most games that are on there. There are some premium games that require a membership, but like the membership's like $2 a month. So, and you only need one membership per group of friends that are playing. So you just need it to start the table. So. You think so? Fike and I are going to play a little bit, and he's probably going to beat me soundly. He's been practicing apparently yesterday, so
not that just enough that I remembered the rules again.
There you go. All right, first move has been made, sir. It's your turn. All right. All right, I see what you're doing. I see where we're going. Starting ugly already.
Well, I wasn't going to let you take my piece immediately. That would be...
Right. So there's a couple different strategies with this. There is a super offensive and a super defensive. So right now, because I'm sort of a piece ahead, and the first player always has the advantage in most games like this. So obviously, Féchín's going to be limited to playing super defensive because I'm trying to create Merrills early on. And so you kind of look at that. So you either be super offensive in the first part of the game, or super defensive, and then the second half of the game changes drastically because of that. And you'll see when we get into this that I will be potentially in a worse off place because I had to play super offensively. I'm sort of boxed into these corners. Let's see here. Let's go right there. Okay. This is an easy game for an event. You literally, so like on the board games that when I make them for classes and things like that, I do felt. I go to Joann's or Michael's, whatever, and buy some cheap little 9x12, like the dollar felt pieces, and just draw it out with magic marker. Or you can, if you're feeling fancy, paint it on. You could do them in some sort of like paint pen or whatever. But these kind of games add such a ambiance to events. I think that it really makes the events more interesting and pretty to look at. And their period. So because this game dates from 1300 BC to even in our case 1600s, it's playable by literally anybody. I don't care what your persona is or where you come from, you can document this game or a game very similar, probably under a different name, but to your period. I gotta quit hovering my mouse. Oh, ba-bam.
Oh,
you missed it.
I was so busy worrying about catching you in the same trap. But
yeah, you got one on the bottom. Yeah, I was stuck either side. All right, so we each have made a mill now. We get to remove a piece. So he is now limited to, he cannot remove the piece that's in my mill currently, which is these three here. But he can remove any of my other pieces. And that should be 8 for both of us. So, all right, so we've now placed all our pieces, and we're both down to 8 now. We both lost a piece. This is now entering phase 2, which is the movement phase. So we'll move our pieces along the lines, up and down. And the objective would be to create and reform your same mills, which is going to be really interesting since I've got one, he's got one, but his is way more open than mine is.
yeah, you can. If we play it out this way, you're going to move the 1 mill piece you can. I'm not going to break my mill so that you can't take it.
Right.
Lose a piece, and when you take it, I'll move mine, and we'll alternate back and forth as things open up, but you're going to take the lead right away.
Right. Or I'm not going to do that. Do something completely different. Ooh.
Okay, well, yes, if you were playing for to be brutal, that's what you would have done.
Correct, yeah. You
already won the game.
The first player to break a mill. Let's see. Let's go. Oh, no, that was dumb. Go back. Go back. I did a dumb thing. All right. See which one of your moves. Yeah, that was a smart one. Because I did a dumb.
If you'd gone the other way, you could have taken my piece that's situated between your 2 whites with early on.
Yep.
And then gone back and forth grinding me between 2 millstones.
Right. Quite literally between 2 millstones, yeah. Yeah, you got me. So this game, if you have 2 good players, this game is literally going to be who makes the first mistake. It is such a simple game, and once you find sort of the mechanics of how best to play it, that it literally is going to be who plays better. Fortunately, he has 2 of his in mill, so I can at least break one of the 2, or he'll move one of the other pieces out, which is fine. So I'm not out of it yet, but I am at a severe disadvantage. All right, let's pop. Yeah, I guess that one. Yep. If I do this right, I might be able to pick this back up. Move that back. Review.
That's going to depend on whether it enforces the can't break a mill on the last piece.
Oh yeah, it should. Once I'm down to 3, it should allow you to break my mill. Yep, you're gonna lose one of the 2 of them. Pull that.
Now, the smart thing to do here is to not break my mill yet.
Right.
And do this.
Yep. And you got me. So you got me strictly based on force movements. Now I have to break mine, which allows you to then break mine. There you go.
But like I was saying early on, if he had made one different move, he would have changed the entire game by instead of me grinding him between the 2 millstones, he'd have been getting that on me first.
Another. Ooh, wow. So yeah, so this actually has the optional rule for the wild or flying stone. That's cool.
Do you want to demonstrate it? We can demonstrate it.
Sure. Wouldn't have mattered in that just then, but I'd have lost it either way. All right, should be waiting on you.
Yeah, it's giving me all the trophies.
Oh yeah. Board game really likes giving trophies. It's its favorite thing to do, I think. Start game. All right, let's see. Let's go. We'll go out that corner again. So this is one of those games. I think there is a mathematical, like in checkers. I think there's a mathematical solve of this game that is the here's the optimal way to play it. So if you look at tic-tac-toe, it does it. There is a best way to play tic-tac-toe, and there's probably a best way to play this as well, just because of the limited number of options there are. Let's see. So let's just get crazy again. You got like a bingo thing going on there.
If I had those diagonal lines, you'd be
right. It's a nice little pattern we got going on there. I see we've had some new people join. Welcome, everybody. If you're coming in late here, this is going to be posted on YouTube. So if you joined late, feel free to go back and watch the first little bit of the history and me babbling and things. I babble oh so well, so I enjoy listening to myself talk. So it's convenient. Nice. I missed that completely. Good job. Please choose a stone. Oh, we're moving now. Dang it! I want to place another one. Oh no. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say you win because I am severely boxed in.
Yeah, but we'll get to the point that your flying can actually
right
help you out.
I'll see what happens with that. Yeah, so I play a lot of games. That doesn't mean I'm good at a lot of games. Oh, interesting choice. Okay, not what I would have picked. Oh no! No. All right, get you one. Go ahead and take it. Go ahead. Yeah. Rude. So rude. Which do I choose? Top one. Yes, we're doing that one. At least it breaks one of your 2 mills, but you've got the other one pretty well blocked in. Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Good job. Okay. Okay, it keeps giving us the proposed draw option. Just gonna leave all your mills open until I can until I have to move something.
I am playing to see if I can achieve the other victory condition. Make it so that you can't move.
I got you. Okay. Yeah.
Because grinding you between millstones is not much of a challenge.
Oh. Harsh.
Well, once they're set up, that's kind of what the whole
right
is.
So you'll be hard pressed to do that right now because of this side here, and I'll be able to move that. That one stone will be movable. But granted, once I move that, then you'll be able to take that mill. That mill break. So
that's what I'm looking at and seeing if I can pull it off.
Right. Well, knowing that, let's see what I can do differently here. Let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna let you have that one. Okay, so I get to do that. And that one. I throw this up. So apparently Catherine's son is mocking her for watching a gaming live stream. Yeah, so this is like, it's funny. Everybody's watching all these esports, watching people play, Fortnite, whatever. And you're watching people play Nine Men's Morris from the 9th century. Isn't it the best? Oh, I love the modern Middle Ages where we're literally doing medieval gaming online on the YouTubes. It makes me laugh. All right, so you're going to keep sliding that one back and forth, so I got to do something about that. Yeah. And Catherine, you don't let your son be mean to you, because this is the best. This is riveting entertainment right here. Oh, interesting choice. Okay, so you're going for the block still. I like it. Slide that over. Okay, so I'm now limited to I have to break the mill, which means you're gonna.
But I still can't block him in. He'll. But I may be able to end the game by blocking you from moving if this plays out right.
Yeah, maybe. Well, no, because I'll still be able to move one. Because I'm going to do my only piece I can move is that one to there. So you'll slide a piece down, or just.
And now you can move that one piece. I move my mill back, and I win by with you with 3 pieces because you can't move. Wait, no, you'll still have an escape.
Right, and it's going to do the flying man rule too. It should.
Yeah.
So let's see what that does. I'm interested to see how it works because I've never played that way. All right, so I'm going to move something crazy here just to see what it does. Yep, okay, so yeah, let me jump over. That's cool.
And now what you can do is I would be grinding a millstone here. And you could block, or you can now break my millstone. So I take that piece I just moved.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Because then you're 2 moves out from forming another one. Yeah, it's done in the way because you get slide out now.
It's
oh, wow. You have like a triple mill going on. That's impressive.
Now it's a done game, but at another point, blocking like that, when I was playing with the computer beforehand, I got my butt kicked because I got it down to the last phase, almost had it in place, and they kept throwing pieces in and then dropping back down and breaking my mill.
Right. You slide it down, and that's game. Well, there you go.
But yeah, the flying man can seriously change the depending on the position everything's in. It can seriously change the game from a foregone conclusion to a sudden upset.
Right. That's definitely true. And I've noticed that in this game. Like, one thing that I like about Nine Men's Morris is it very much is it's a simple game. I mean, anybody knows how to play tic-tac-toe. But if you really look at it, there's a whole lot more that is that second level complexity. Checkers is another great example. Checkers is a simple game, but there's a lot once you sort of figure out the basic mechanics. There's a lot more you can do with it to be more competitive and sort of better. And there's those mathematical ways to make it work right. So I think once you get that, you sort of get your strategy building. It's a lot more interesting game, but it's a lot that gives you a lot more options than like the 3 Men's Morris does. Because the board's variations there. So, anyways, that was fun. Thank you for making me look bad on my own stream, Fike, and I appreciate that. I felt this is now the second time I've been beat in a stream because Oyong beat me yesterday playing Go. Like I stomped her crazy off camera. I get on camera and I just go, I lose my mind apparently. So I appreciate you for that. So anyways, if there's no questions, and we're going to end this later. I've got some more gardening to do, so I don't mind cutting class a little short today. Folks, feel free to, like I said, my research papers out there, my handouts out there. Look those over. If you have any questions, post them in the event. Message them to me. I'm more than happy to answer them as I can. And yeah, we'll call it there. Fiken, any closing comments?
Make sure that you go back through all the classes. There are so many wonderful ones this week to take. We were just spoiled for choice. And once again, big round of applause for Cal for organizing this. It's been a blast. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. Yeah, so on that note, actually tonight at 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time, we're doing Analects or Wine Rules with the Honorable Lady Oyong. So this will be a non-recorded Zoom session. So grab your drinks, throw some garb on, and let's have a little fun. It will be a class credit, but it will be a live credit only because I'm not going to be drinking on official camera. So, there's that. And then tomorrow we've got one final class. Oyang is doing pitch pot, so she'll be throwing arrows in her backyard. So come and enjoy that. But yeah, so all the classes in the Clover are available for a week for credit. They're there. All of them are there forever. So feel free to go back and learn all the fun stuff. But if you want credit, at least through the Clover, you have 1 week from the posting of class or 1 week from the end of the symposium. I'm not going to cut the time off, but that's fine. And yeah, enjoy that. If you take them later than that, you just need to make sure you self-report it either through your provost or through directly to the registrar. So this has been fun, and I hope you all enjoyed this. This has been Kalbardr and Féchín in Kalbardr's Corner. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.